Depression and anxiety, these both terms are actually clinical disorder or dysfunctioning of our brain, but it is like an illness which can be cured. And you should be vocal about what you are feeling. You should be vocal about your emotional health, including your physical health, because they go hand in hand. Earlier, if I talk about mental health, no one would understand what is mental health. People would just consider mental health means pagal khana. Now at least people have started recognizing it. Now at least people have started talking about it. It can happen to anyone. We have seen so many successful people coming and talking about it.
How do you know if the therapist is a good fit, and what do you look for in a therapist?
You can be your best therapist as well. Talking to yourself and understanding what is triggering you. A therapist, she will first try to figure out what are the trigger points which are bothering you. Working upon the mental health would be a proper follow-up thing. This has to be a part of your lifestyle. Be yourself and love yourself the way you are. Don't get intimidated by judgments being passed by others.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kanchan Roy, for joining us on India Podcast today on one of the most important issues that the entire world is dealing with at this point in time, and that is mental wellness, as we understand it. So we are very privileged to have you with us on our show, and you have been quite pioneering on that front, bringing the awareness to masses around to help them recognize this problem and also take them towards the treatment of the same. So thank you so much for joining us on India Podcast today.
A pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much for having me here today.
I would like to begin asking with you that in this time of pandemic situation we have all hit into, depression, anxiety, mental awareness or mental wellness, these terms have been used very casually, as in it has been an everyday word now to understand if you are sad, you are depressed, if you're unhappy, are you depressed, are you anxious? Can you help us first understand the word depression, anxiety, and what exactly does it mean to you?
See, depression and anxiety, these both terms are actually a clinical disorder or dysfunctioning of our brain, but it is like an illness which can be cured. So these days, these words have been actually misconcepted or there are so many things which are revolving around these two words, because these days people are bound to feel sad. These days people are bound to feel low, and then they misconcept this word of feeling low or being low to a word called depression or anxiety, which is absolutely different. It's a very simple thing. If we talk about being sad or being low, feeling low, that is like a natural phenomena. It's like a natural emotion, or that is like an natural feeling which everyone has.
Okay.
It's like, because we are human, we are bound to have different kind of emotions and different kind of feelings. And being sad or feeling low is absolutely a normal part of it. But of course, if we have these kind of emotions or feeling for a long time, say like if I feel sad, if I feel low, few hours or few days, then it's absolutely normal. But if that things are being stretched up for weeks or months, then things are not very normal, and then it's the time where we have to exactly, introspect whether we are just feeling low, we are feeling sad, or it is something beyond that. So there are a few, very simple points which we need to keep in our mind before judging a person whether he's sad or he's depressed or he's feeling low. So if a person, he is happy enough or on a normal routine day, he's having a good food, but all of a sudden you will see change in his appetite, or, he'll start eating more or he'll start eating less, could be one of the symptoms. Same thing goes with the sleep as well. Like for normal living person will have a proper sleep, but all of a sudden if he's sleeping too much or if he's not sleeping at all, this could be the second symptom. Feeling detached, not feeling motivated to do anything, like you don't feel like talking to anyone for a good number of days. You don't feel like doing anything for a good number of days, could be the symptom. You have some thoughts in your mind which might provoke to take an extreme step called suicide. Of course, things are not in a good shape and immediate action is to be required. You don't feel like doing any of your routine work, like whatever you used to do in your routine life. You don't feel like doing it. Or you are doing it, but you are not putting your effort. You are just doing it for sake of doing it. Then there is something wrong. You have to figure out that, and then you have to start working on it. So yeah, like as I said, feeling low or sad for some number of days or for a few number of hours is absolutely normal. But if it's actually extending more than that, then there is a cause of concern, and we need to take care of it.
How well have you defined that if it is a continuous pattern and it sustains for longer, it has to be treated and addressed too, but not immediate reaction to anything can be addressed like that. I also want to ask you that what are the common theme, if to say so, that you have been hearing when talking to others, that struggle with depression, anxiety. Is there some common theme or subject around which most of the people take to the space of continuous feeling anxious or sad or falling into the depression category?
No, actually, to be honest, I haven't seen so far that there is a one particular thing or one particular trigger which can actually create trigger to a good number of people, because this is like a very individual and this is like a very personal feeling or very personal, feeling, I would say. So one size doesn't fit all. Same thing goes here as well. Like there is not one particular thing or trigger. But right now, if we talk about the current situation, so I have seen a pattern like first I started was like whatever I said was in a previous context, like before COVID. Now if I'm talking about the current situation where COVID is already there and people are already in so much of uncertainty is there. People don't go out, they don't express themselves, and there is a kind of fear about the job, fear about studies. So during this particular time, the pattern has been very common, which is uncertainty. So each and every client coming to us or person who feels that way coming to us, they have the one common factor, which is uncertainty. It could be anything. It could be related to their work. It could be related to the relation. It could be related to the study. So yeah, uncertainty is common, but then again it has different branches which I mentioned.
You have been helping people there with your Let Us Talk new campaign there, or the way you address people to the issue. You have been a leadership coach. Could you tell us more about how are you trying to make this awareness among people, and how would people connect to this aspect of recognizing that they would need to take help, or they would need to take counseling, therapist, treatment, or anything of the kind?
So if I talk about Let Us Talk is like, we have bunch of people here. We have doctors, we have consultants, we have therapists, we have counselors, we have everyone here. And basically what Let Us Talk does is like we try to create an awareness first of all. So people now, like if I talk about earlier stage, people were never ready to understand like there is something called mental health and we have to prioritize our mental health. In spite of, being in a position where a small help or a small gesture could help them a lot, they would never come up. They would never talk about it. So Let Us Talk was doing like, we were trying to create an awareness. We were trying to make people understand like this is a phenomena which is very natural, or, there are so many people, those who go through the same thing, and you are not alone in this journey. And you should be vocal about what you are feeling. You should be vocal about your emotional health, including your physical health, because they go hand in hand. So this was an awareness program which we always wanted to create, which we have always created and worked upon. So if we talk about mental health, it has been a very big taboo in our Indian society earlier, before COVID. Like we have hardly seen people coming and talking about it. In spite of suffering, in spite of, in a desperate need of help, they would never talk about it. And that was the reason, this thing was actually getting deep-rooted. Deep-rooted in the sense that like if I am not feeling good about myself, what I'll be cultivating to a person whom I am attached to or who is attached to me would be definitely the same thing. So directly or indirectly, I am just cultivating my feelings which are not too good to him as well. So it was like a whole chain or a whole loop which was working, and we were just trying to break it up. We just want people to talk about it and feel good about themselves, so that what next they would be cultivating would be a positivity and would be a much more happier place or a much more happier pace which they'll be giving. So your main aim was to create an awareness. And second thing, as I said, like we have a team, so if a person coming to us, we just don't assess and you are depressed, you are having some anxiety issue. No, we just assess it. We just try to figure it out, like what is wrong and what best could be done. And then we transfer the person or the case to a relevant person who can handle it well. So if a person who needs a coach, we won't directly, we won't direct him to a psychiatrist or psychologist who might, give them some tablets or some kind of medication. If a person can be treated with some talking therapy or some kind of therapy, that is like more than welcome for anyone. So we just try to categorize things and then we try to forward it to a relevant person where the person is required to go.
My next question to you, ma'am, is about how do you know if the therapist is a good fit and what do you look for in a therapist? How can one choose that this is where I have to go and I have to look for help and this is going to be appropriate for me?
See, as far as therapists are concerned, you can be your best therapist as well. Like once you figure out there is something wrong and I need help and I need to improvise myself, the first thing which you will be doing is talking to yourself and understanding what is triggering you. A therapist, she will first try to figure out what are the trigger points which are bothering you, and then she would actually try to analyze those triggers which are bothering you and try to resolve it. So this is a whole process. Of course, it's a very scientific process as well. There are so many other techniques involved in it. But if you ask me about selecting a therapist for yourself, that would be, first of all, you have to be very comfortable enough. This is not an ongoing thing. Today I went to this person. I had 3-4 sessions, but I didn't find a good outcome. I don't feel like talking to him or her. I change it. So you can't keep on repeating this process. So before you hire someone, please make sure that first thing what you are looking is absolutely present there. Maybe you need to have a one-to-one session, or maybe a longer session where you will get an idea about a therapist or therapy is being provided, and you have to judge it whether you will be able to cope or whether you will be able to get into the process and you yourself will be benefited out of it or no. And as there are so many NGOs working in the same field, maybe you can approach any NGO. They might suggest you a good therapist or a good counselor as per your requirement. There are many government sites as well, if you have seen. And there are many groups as well. Like people have created groups where they talk and share their experience. Maybe you can take out of it, like if people are sharing their personal experience of a therapist, maybe she has done good for him or her. So it could work for you as well.
My one important question, Ms. Rai, has been we have seen you talk to many celebrated people also in your field across sectors. We've seen you talk to someone who's an artist, someone who's into politics. Have you seen that even at a success ground where you've been successful in life, then also this kind of anxiety can creep up in life? So it is not limited to people who are who are averaging out in their life, but also people who have really achieved a lot in their life, and yet they are not able to come into an emotional wellness or a mental wellness state for themselves.
That's very true. I have also written a very good article about it. Mental health is not for one particular segment. Mental health is for everyone. This is a very big myth that a person who has achieved success or who has done very good for himself or herself or for the society can't have any kind of anxiety issues or mental health issues. It can happen to anyone. So if you are a person who is so successful, you are not going to suffer. That is a very, very wrong definition. Same way, if a person, if I talk about India, we have seen many farmers committing suicide, right? Yes. So they are not to a level where we are talking about this segment of people. Still they commit suicide. Why do they commit suicide? It means there is something absolutely not right with the mental health. It means there is something which is pressurizing them and they are not able to take the pressure. So mental health is absolutely not for one single segment. It is for each and everyone. It doesn't mean, your segment or your class of category doesn't define the mental stigma or the mental health problems which you can face, or this is what you cannot face.
So even a successful person can have this kind of a state of mind, irrespective that he is doing good in his career, he's achieving a lot, earning enough money that he wanted to. Still, this can happen a state of mind for anybody.
Of course, it can. It can, and it has. We have seen so many successful people coming and talking about it, sharing their own experience, sharing their own whole journey of fighting with it, and then after coming healed and healthy with it. So yes, we can't rule out this thing that once you are successful, once you have achieved something, mental health issues won't be there in your life. It can be at any point of time.
And the last question, ma'am, as a whole, we see a drastic shift in the society today towards spiritual movement or yoga, or taking on to energy exercises, or some kind of a class where people can go and execute out more energy out there. So do you think the shift is going to help in bringing the mental well-being and including having a nutritious diet? So is there more to keeping yourself in that healthy state of mind than just talking it out to people?
Whatever is happening right now, because, the situation or the COVID has played a very important role. Earlier, if I talk about mental health, no one would understand what is mental health. So people would just consider mental health means pagalkhana. Mental health means going to asylum. Mental health means being boycotted from the society or being judged by the society. Now at least people have started recognizing it. Now at least people have started talking about it. Now people have started working about it. But the only thing or the only factor which can actually help to, create awareness or working upon the mental health would be a proper follow-up thing. Like if you are talking today and tomorrow you are not at all bothered about this, is not going to help. We have to be very particular. This has to be a part of your lifestyle. This is like, we talk about healthy diet, we talk about going to gym, we talk about working on our physical health. At the same time, how do we achieve it? If we are in a position to sustain it, if we are in a position to accept it as a part of our lifestyle, this is when we see the changes. This is when we actually, feel good about it. It's the same thing goes with your mental health as well. If today you are talking about it and tomorrow you don't bother, this is not going to help. This is exactly the way you take care of your physical body. It's the same way you have to take care of your mental health as well. It's like if I am doing gym for 1 year and then I suddenly stop it and I feel, okay, I have done it in the past, so this is not going to affect me or I won't be suffering from any kind of physical problem. That is absolutely wrong. Same way, if we talk about mental health, if we won't follow it, if we won't actually make it a practice and won't adapt it as a lifestyle, this thing won't fall in the place.
So it has to be a regular, it is
Yes.
a regular way of living your life with continuous awareness. Thank you so much, Ms. Rai. But before we have to allow you to skip out, a message from you for the country, for everybody who's listening to you today. What is that one message that you want to give to everybody at this point in time?
Be yourself and love yourself the way you are. Don't try anyone else to judge you, and don't actually get intimidated by judgments being passed by others. Just be yourself and love yourself. That's the best thing you can do to yourself.
Thank you so much. It was a complete pleasure to have you with us, sharing such an important information and a way that we can tread ahead and find our way out in life. Thank you so much. It was a complete pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.